Dr. Graham and
Catherine Marie.
welcome to Abnormal, Alabama and
Abnormal USA.
Go ahead.
.com.
Okay. Look for us on Facebook, Abnormal Alabama. Right now we're going to be adding Abnormal USA to that tag. Also, look for us on our website, abnormalalabama.com, and also it will be abnormalusa.com. Look for us
On Facebook, abnormalalabama.com. I'm sorry, Abnormal Alabama and Abnormal USA.
Okay, and those will be added later on. We just changed some things today because we're eventually going to run out of things, a couple of things. We're going to eventually run out of things to do in Alabama. And there's so much more interesting things to do all the way across the country. And as we go out with our, guess what? Right there, Future Quartz shirts, we get a lot of attention. People want these shirts. We come up with a new design. Catherine, if you don't mind while I'm talking, go get one of the new designs. Let's show everybody. And we came up with a program we can afford to sell these. We dropped the price by an entire $10 cheaper. We were asking $30, now it's dropped down to $20. And the design is new and improved as well. Got a couple of these old designs left that I'm wearing. We also have short sleeves. It's summertime. I've got a long sleeve, and she's going to bring one here for you to look at. And we're going to talk to you. This is kind of an introductory presentation. What is Abnormal Alabama? What is it that we do? What is it we're all about? So here comes our new design. She's going to put it right in front of the camera for you. Look at this. Isn't that awesome? And to get things rolling real good, here, keep in mind, every month, for a while, we're going to be giving away one of these t-shirts for free and a matching ball cap, not the ball cap and t-shirt the same person. One t-shirt, one ball cap given away each month starting June the 15th. And you've got to have your entry in by June 14th, we'll say midnight, so that we get up lazily on the 15th. We've got everything we need to work with to have our drawing. The first drawing will be for the t-shirt, and I don't know how this is doing. I don't like the way but anyway, let me see if I don't think I can change it midstream. But here's the deal. You've got to follow us on our Facebook page, that group. Join us, follow us, just get in there with us, ask to be a part of the group. That's number one.
Abnormal Alabama.
Abnormal Alabama Facebook. Like and share some of the stuff that we like to we post there. Be a participant. Leave a comment. I don't care if the comment is thanks. I don't care if the comment is have a nice day. Let us know you're live, a real person, so that we can enter you into this. Then go to YouTube. Right now this YouTube channel is Abnormal Alabama on YouTube. Go to YouTube, subscribe, follow, get your notifications, like and share, comment, be an active player between now and the 14th, midnight on the 14th, and you will stand to win one of these beautiful. These are Fruit of the Looms. They're not cheap shirts. They're nice shirts. And also a ball cap. One person will get one, another person will get the other. So that is to get us rolling, get the word out, help us out, and we will gift you one of these two with that drawing starting June 15th, and that will roll month to month until we decide to put an end to it. We may never put an end to it. It's according to how active you guys get. So we're into a lot of quirky things. I'm sorry, I'm itching. I got on this long sleeve shirt in the summertime in Alabama, and that's kind of a stupid thing. Shows you how stupid I am. But what is Abnormal Alabama? Jump in, Kevin. Put her on the spot.
Put me on the spot. We like quirky things. We like seeing quirky things. We like sharing quirky things.
Well, if you go to the YouTube channel, you're going to notice a lot of our videos are like the Rattlesnake Saloon, the Coon Dog Cemetery, the Nebo Baptist Church Cemetery with the death mask tombstones, those kind of things. Sometimes it's just like Mentone, Alabama, just a little journey through downtown Mentone. Sometimes we've already crossed the border into Georgia for the Corpsewood Manor investigation thing there, where there were 2 guys murdered. The mansion is kind of just a few remnants left of it, that kind of stuff. Okahaba. We get involved in paranormal investigations. My background is in theology and second-generation clergy, a little background here. So spiritual things otherworldly have always interested me, fascinated me. I look at things a little bit differently than some people do because I have a very inquisitive mind. And so in looking at these things, it's always like, well, you go back to the Old Testament, in the Bible, God spoke directly to his creation. In other writings, ancient Sumer and so forth, the Torah, and the Quran, God had direct communication with his creation. So I've always been somewhat involved in things like psychic readings and Ouija boards and communicating with deceased people, spirits in the other realm. There's always been concern about, you might attract a demon or devils or a wicked spirit. I've been involved in my life with the paranormal clergy where we did minor exorcisms. I've been involved in major exorcisms, house cleansings, all that stuff. And so this all encompasses this, along with the Abnormal Alabama, which will involve a lot of paranormal investigations. I like to call it Graham's Abnormal Paranormal Investigations. Everything I do is abnormal. So that's kind of where this all goes. A lot of history, a lot of quirky stuff, as Catherine said. And we are taking it, of course, we found a source. And I've got some brochures. I'm not going to go into this in detail at this moment. But what you find in the way of holy water in your church, it's been a lot of fingers, a lot of stuff in there. You don't know where this water came from. We found, and we were led to, a perfect source of pure, very clean, this is just as nature's God-blessed holy water that you can get. In that other bag is some sage I've got. So this is available. And along with directions on what would you use holy water for, why holy water. It's a cleansing agent. The Bible speaks of life-giving waters, and water, we are made up 2/3 of water. The earth is 2/3 water. Water is very important to life, and of course, that's what it's all about. Now, a lot of people get involved in paranormal, in ghost hunting. A lot of people get involved in trying to communicate with the dead. You're seeking confirmation, you're seeking comfort. This is sage, by the way. Some people, this is very, very powerful stuff in itself to do smudging in a house. This is a communion exorcism kit that I use. It is about what gives you comfort and what gives you peace. Some people reach out, they find peace just knowing that their late mother, grandmother, deceased spouse, whomever, is safe in another realm out here. Their spirit, as they say, their soul have departed to find that comfort. Other people find comfort in believing that that this is not the only part of our existence. This earthly plane, this physical existence, there's more to it than that. We have a possibility, or we have a hope of some eternity in a different realm. Some people view it as parallel universes or multiverses, that maybe we're bumping into different universes that are just kind of on fringe with each other, and sometimes they kind of work together and kind of cross a little bit. Whatever your view is, we find comfort in things that are kind of inexplicable, kind of not, we don't understand. Again, we've got, is that spirit box ready to show here?
No, not
Okay.
yet.
Why don't you get the one out that's not messed up? We're still working on these, and I just want to give you a brief. You know what? Get my original spirit box. And my other phone that I need is in the black case. We're going to give a little demonstration here on the spirit box that's very fascinating. If you are paying attention to paranormal research, if ghost hunting, if that sort of thing, otherworldly things have fascinated you, then this will be fascinating to you as well. I don't know if it'll set here some way. Candy corner. This will automatically connect, I think, when I turn it on. Okay. We're working on some of these to share with you. This is a beefed up version. We're working on a more affordable version, and this is with our spirit box to be able to communicate with, if you prefer, with deceased people that passed on. We're in a cemetery. We are working on our end, invoking gods, deities. These things, I need you to go ahead and do what you need to do there. If you need to step out of the picture or whatever, just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we're going to do a demonstration here. She's got to make sure the sound's going to come through here and whatnot. So while she's working on that, the sound will come through this box as if somebody on the other side does communicate with us. This is an outdoor, open-air chapel that sits on a graveyard property here. It's basically been unused for a while. I can tell it just is here, and we're making use of that. So we figure it's a good place, first of all, in my main day, so it'd be a good place to have what we're doing. And I like this here. So in Abnormal USA, we're looking for things that are interesting, things that are abnormal. That's why we call it abnormal. Some people do the roadside attractions and whatnot. We're looking for things that have to do maybe with a little bit of history. Very fascinating things that just are not out there. Like a lot of people don't realize that Alabama has a vice president that is from Alabama, buried in Alabama, served, William Rufus Devane King is his name. And if you'll find videos about him in that cemetery, Live Oak Cemetery, where he's buried down in Selma, you'll learn that William Rufus Devane King actually named Selma. He was also a founding father of the state of Alabama. Thanks to his work as a 30-year-old attorney, when he first moved here, Alabama was just a territory, and thanks to his work, he brought Alabama to statehood, becoming the 22nd state in our union. He also helped to author our first Constitution, and he served as senator for 30 years from Alabama before he was elected as vice president under Franklin Pierce. Interesting facts, we do a wreath-laying ceremony at his mausoleum once a year on the anniversary of his death. His birthday is April 7th, and his date of death was April 18th, and he lived to be about 65 years old. So, anyway, now we're going to get into the spirit box right here. You see this, and we're going to try to communicate. Should I try to communicate with deceased or God, or what should we seek to invoke here? And my approach would have to be a little bit different based on what we're seeking to talk to. So my favorite And like I said, all these things that we look for and people trying to talk to the dead, and my thing is, I would like, look at the world around us. Look at the condition of things, not just locally, not just in our bubble of time and space, but around the world. All the horrific things that go on, from the wars and murders and all these things. We have a lot of issues, and if dead people can manipulate a spirit box to be able to communicate with us at some level, and if the people that are using the spirit boxes have to be concerned about demons, devils, evil spirits coming through while they're trying to invoke dead people, so they're concerned about spirits and souls of diseased people, then historically based in the Holy Book, the Christian Bible, God spoke directly to his people, his creation, and that's where I like to go with this, because we need help, we need guidance. So the first thing we do is we get into a meditative state, a moment of silence, and then we pray to our deity, to God, to our Creator, and seek communication and direction. So a moment of silence, please. I can't emphasize that this has to be taken seriously. This is not a joke. This is 100% real. There's no editing like some of the people that post stuff on YouTube. You're not going to see clips of start and stop. This is non-stop from beginning to end. And now, okay, so that did not take quite as much work as sometimes I have to plead for communication. And that was really only a moment of silence and verbally letting it be known here that we wanted to hear. And of course, I think all would agree, those words are clearly what you would expect from our Creator, from our God. Love one another. Love, as I think all Christians would agree, God is love. So love one another, and in seeking guidance from this deity, what's the most important thing that this our Creator, our God, can send to us would be love. When people think of Jesus, they think of love, his having, as many believe, that he died for our sins, and that was the greatest expression of love that could have come from us. But listening to those words in this direct communication from God, who manipulated these devices to be able to communicate here today with us, love one another, clearly can be taken to mean that we're not truly focusing on that love that we should have one another. I know I do a lot of weddings, and one of the scriptures we use in weddings talks about love, 1 Corinthians 13, but we fail in surrounding scripture there, just surrounding verses of what we, the attributes of love. Paul wrote, if I have faith to move mountains but do not have love, I am nothing. And he went on and he wrote, of these three, faith, hope, and love is the greatest. And so this communication we got here today, this powerful expression, the utterance from our Creator to love one another, certainly backs up what this holy text has tried to communicate with us for over 2,000 years now. This draws a lot of energy. This draws, and it gets to be quite exhausting. So I've been going on here for over 20 minutes, and we're going to cut this short now because what we've just experienced is very taxing and very exhausting to me, standing here and pushing for this and pleading for this. Not only in my words, but my whole being is sending out this energy to the universe to say, God, speak to us. God, we need your help. And this is going to be a continual thing because I'm not, I don't think God be contained, if I've gotten this message before, in a book. God cannot be condensed into the book. And we know the history of the Bible, not demeaning the Bible, not overly criticizing it, but we know the fallacies of the many translations and the way the book was handed down to us, that we want this direct communication from God because we need some direction. Did you have something you want to share?
I do. I wanted to talk about the reason why we started Abnormal Alabama. As a young child, I would see things and hear things that most of the time weren't there. And we were out one day doing the wedding over at Natural Bridge, Alabama. Phil Campbell, is that where that is? And I was playing around with my camera, which I do quite often. And they had hanging from the ceiling a set of silverware that was made into a wind chime. I was snapping photos and the wind chime just to be kind of interesting, and I got to looking back at my camera and there's a face in one of the spoons. And you're going to have to stop it there because I'm kind of lost for words.
Okay. Well, anyway, I had a wedding at Natural Bridge. I don't know. It's kind of in the country, not really a town. And I'm sorry, that does take a lot of energy. I'm exhausted after that experience to go through what I went through here, and I don't know if you felt it. I can't speak now as you're watching this, so I'm kind of drained right now. But what she's speaking of is we had a wedding at Natural Bridge up northwest of Jasper somewhere, Bankhead Forest area, and the whole thing was that while we're waiting on the couple to show up, they got a little gift shop, and outside the gift shop on the porch there, they had taken some old silver spoons, forks, and knives and made a little wind chime out of it. Catherine loves photography. We're waiting. I'm inside. She's out there snapping pictures away, and she's looking at the picture she caught on her camera. And she shared those. That's on abnormalalabama.com, I would hope. There was a demon-like face in two of the different pictures from the spoon of this wind chime. All kind of interesting things that she's going to write and share with you on our blog, on Facebook, and also on our website. Experience with keys down at Okahaba and a slave's grave down there. Very interesting stuff. Very tired right now. Been going for 23 minutes almost, and so I'm going to shut this down. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this enlightens you to what we're all about. It's not just the paranormal. Some of it's real, raw history. Focus pretty much on Alabama right now, but we are going to reach out to surrounding states as we go along here. We're going to try to make it entertaining. We're going to do a lot, as I did an earlier presentation, I've already put it away, but do a lot of 360 vlogging. And that 360 is going to be carried over to paranormal investigations. So if we find ourselves in a situation where we're in a cemetery, in a house, in an old building that's supposed to be haunted, we're going to have that 360 camera, and you, the viewer, can participate, be totally immersed in our surroundings, and help us to see and hear what's around us as we carry on this investigation. We've got special lighting and special tools, some of which have not really ever been used effectively or at all. So all that's going to happen, Abnormal Alabama on Facebook, Abnormal Alabama on YouTube, abnormalalabama.com, And we're expanding this now to abnormalusa.com, and that'll all be tied into our Facebook page and the YouTube channel as well. Thank you all for your time. Be safe. The weekend is coming. Whenever you're watching this, there will be a weekend coming. Keep your eyes and ears open. Subscribe, like, share. Don't forget to join us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. Like, share videos and whatnot. If you want your chance to receive, totally free of charge, your very own Future Corpse t-shirt or ball cap. 2 people win every month. You can be one of them. All right. Good day.